Hi everybody, Stewart here from Midland Property Investments and another episode of Property Question Time. As you know, I spend a lot of time in London networking. Today I am in the sunny or not so sunny town of Chester in the Abode Hotel with my very good friend Rob Stewart from the Property Education Group. Now Rob's mission in life is to unlock human potential, and he does this by training trainers. So we're in the middle of a course right now. Let's get straight to it. Rob.
Absolute pleasure.
Hi, how you doing? So Rob, thank you for your time. I know you're very busy and you're in the middle of a course, and we'll get onto that a bit later on. So I know Rob from a number of years now. We were on the same mastermind group, I think probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Time flies.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I've been following Rob since then, and I've been on a couple of his courses as well, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. So Rob, can you tell me, I know you are involved in property, hence Property Education Group. So can you tell me, before property, what were you doing?
Yeah, so I after I left university prematurely.
Okay. What happened here?
Well, I decided learning traditional education was maybe not the thing I wanted to do, and really all I wanted to do was fly aeroplanes.
Right. Okay.
So I left left university and joined the RAF.
Right.
I spent 12 years flying jets, either up in Scotland, which I was based for quite a long time,
right,
in North Wales when I was a trainer on the Hawk. I spent a year out in South Africa training South African Air Force to fly the Hawk as well.
Oh wow, okay, so you learned it, then you became a trainer as well?
Yeah, so you know, I was front line on the Tornado, which is an air defence aircraft.
Okay.
And then came back as a trainer, so spent about 5 years training people to fly airplanes and, you know, sort of drop bombs and all of that sort of funky stuff. And, you know, it was quite fun, but it wasn't what I wanted to do for my whole career.
Right.
So when I went to South Africa, I kind of realised what was important in life.
Right.
And that was about time. It's about family. It's about having control. Actually, you know, I know a lot of people who watch this will understand that when you're working for somebody, you very rarely got your own control.
That's right.
Over your destiny. So I thought I kind of reached my limit of how much I wanted to do in the military. Left, had to leave my pension. Because I left early. Right. Okay. Doesn't that sort of stay in a pot that you can take afterwards? Yeah. So I don't know how much you know about sort of military pensions, but generally,
surprisingly,
funny
let me think. No,
they're quite good, right? And basically, if you stay till 38 points, I know it's changed recently, but if you stay to 38 points, you can leave and then start drawing your pension immediately. So a lot of the guys will stay till 38, then they'll leave and go be commercial pilot, but they'll actually be drawing their pension from 38. Right. Which is great. So I basically lost the ability to do that.
I can ask you, what age did you actually leave the?
So I left at 32. And that was 5 years ago now, so I know I don't look over 21, thank you for saying. So yeah, I left at 32, but it was not worth spending another six years in the Air Force to draw that. So a lot of people hang on to draw that. And when I look at it now, the annual pension is probably about the same as 1 or 2 HMOs.
Right. Okay.
So,
oh wow. Okay.
You know, it's not difficult to replace that if you know what you're doing in something like property, for example.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you felt this was urge that you didn't want to do flying fighter jets, but then how did you actually get into property?
Yeah, so
was that by accident, or was it?
My father-in-law has a sort of a portfolio of single lets in the northwest. So he was buying them in the 90s when he's buying them for like £10,000. Okay, wow. And they're now, you know, I mean, we're in the northwest, right? So it's not affluent, but they're like £70,000-80,000 now. So he's got that portfolio. So he said, right, this is what you need to get into. So in the year or so it took me to get out of the RAF, I basically started buying a few, you know, doing them myself, single lets.
Traditional deposit down and things like that?
Well, actually, so I'd saved up a bit of cash. Okay. So the first couple I did were in cash, and I was buying them for sort of 30,000.
Wow. Okay.
Repos. So this is sort of 2011, right?
Okay.
In the good old days, where you could go into an estate agent, and they'd just be plastered with repos on the walls. Right. And they'd be like, please take as many of them as you can.
I think those days are gone, haven't they?
Those days are long gone. If we were back in those days, I know what I'd be doing. Right. So you could go and, you know, I was buying them for 30 grand, putting 5 grand refurb in, and then refinancing them for 65,000. Okay. So pulling the money out. So that's how I got started. Okay. doing everything myself.
Yeah.
So like literally buying, refurbing, trying to fit plumbing, push fit plumbing.
Right. Okay. Wow.
And so that's why it took ages, right, to do the first 3 or so. And then I left the Air Force, and for the first year after leaving the Air Force, I actually worked for a defence contracting firm as a consultant.
Yeah.
Limited company, they paid into that, and actually, consultancy rates were kind of all right.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. I used to be a software contractor.
Yeah, so you know what it's like. Yeah. So I did that for about a year, and basically everything that went into limited company, I used it to buy more property.
Okay, cool.
So that's how I got going in property.
Brilliant. Okay.
And because of the model that was working, raised some JV finance on a loan basis, not equity loan basis.
Yeah.
Progressed to HMOs.
Okay.
And then a lot of my friends in the Air Force started to see what I was doing and take notice.
Right, okay.
Again, HMOs, we were sort of buying them 55 grand for a 3-bed house.
Still in the northwest.
In the northwest, all around sort of Wirral, which is sort of next to Merseyside, just south of Liverpool, and North Wales. So not the most salubrious places, I can assure you that. But
I thought that was Chester. Isn't that always Cheshire? Isn't that one of the most expensive parts of the country?
Well, yeah. So we're in Chester right now.
Right.
Which is obviously very nice.
Yes.
Not that you can see because the backdrop is just a bit white, but it's like literally a party going on over here that you can't see. But literally 5 miles away from here, you're into 30-40 grand.
Oh,
houses.
Right. Okay.
Right. It changes very quickly.
Wow.
So yeah, went into HMOs, but we were doing all in 5-bed HMOs, £70,000 back then. So I started sourcing a lot for my RF friends as well. Which then led to a deal sourcing company.
Brilliant.
And we were picking up lots of these sort of things, converting them, and then I couldn't find anybody to manage these things. I don't know if anybody struggles with managing HMOs.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people do.
Right? Yeah. So I couldn't find any agency to manage these things. So I set up my own.
Oh wow.
Which was just me.
Okay.
And managing, so
at the start, right.
Before I got my first member of staff, I was managing about 100 rooms, not HMOs, 100
rooms.
Right, okay, so about 100 tenants. But
right.
You know what it's like, you've got the tenant phone. Yeah, so I had my own phone, tenant phone.
Right.
Nobody ever called me on this phone.
Yeah.
But lots of people.
I get the feeling as well, yeah.
Lots of people called me on this phone.
Right.
Usually everything would go wrong on a Friday night.
Right,
about 10 o'clock. I was like, right, something's got to change.
Right.
So change here. I've got to effectively systemize.
Because you want to take control of your own life.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get called with family time or maybe social time as well.
Exactly.
Okay, brilliant.
Exactly. I remember there was, because I used to basically, we do a lot of lower demographic or LHA type let. So if you want a challenge, right, get HMO, LHA, put them together.
Right.
That's good fun.
Right.
You've got to design some systems for that.
Right.
But it was, it was me going around collecting a lot of cash rent.
Okay.
Friday afternoon used to be driving around.
Right.
There's this one house had a really tricky tenant who was like a drug dealer.
Oh, right,
with a big pit bull, and I remember him threatening me quite severely one Friday when he refused to pay the rent.
Right. Okay.
I thought, right, this is not quite how I anticipated my life going. My son Teddy was recently born at that point, so less than a year old.
Okay.
Not quite how I thought my life was going to go. So I thought, right, I need to systemize this business.
Right.
Bring teams in, bring staff in, and that's how I started sort of growing everything.
Okay.
By creating systems and bringing team in.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. I mean, so just on the systems part, I know you're quite passionate about systems.
Yeah.
I like systems, but
it's a really geeky sort of thing.
It is really geeky. And when I try to, because I've got a coffee shop, as you may or may not know. So when I try and push systems onto my stuff, I get a lot of eyeballs rolling up.
Yeah.
So how do you get past that?
So, it's funny you say that because that's exactly what happened.
Right. Okay.
Because you have all these beautiful systems. I had these this big training academy, all these checklists.
You're quite proud of it as well.
All this sort of stuff, and then the staff just never look at it. Right.
Okay.
They just do their own thing.
So I'm not the only one then.
So you're not the only one. So the key to it, right? Here's the key to that. Well, number one is culture.
Okay.
Right, so it's culture in your business, and your staff have to be bought in to you, your vision, and be motivated by that. Mm-hmm. When they come on board, training is extremely important. So we have basically an onboarding process for all that stuff. They've got to go through all the systems.
And how long does that last for then?
Well, usually I would say the first week that somebody comes on board, right, they're going to be purely shadowing and in training for the first week. Okay. It's what most people do when they hire a member of staff. This is what I did the first time. Is literally buy a laptop, member of staff, there's your laptop, there's your login details, go.
All right, okay.
And they're like, I'm not quite sure what to do.
Right, okay.
And I think, when you're sort of an entrepreneurial startup, generally you're fighting a lot of fires.
That's right.
You don't have the time to train.
Yeah.
Therefore, you've got a member of staff you're now paying for, and then you generally have to do their job for them. So you're getting so annoyed that they're not doing their own job because you haven't told them how to do their job.
Okay.
So training is absolutely key. And my business partner in Peg, John, kind of taught me how to do this, because with Castledean, I think John's got 60, 70 members of staff now.
Right, okay.
In Castledean, and a very, very efficient training system. But the key thing that John told me, which I always take away...
That's John Paul.
That's John Paul, sorry. So that's John Paul. So he owns a company called Castledean Group, Northeast. So another hot spot of the country.
Right. So is Birmingham, by the way.
Anything, I get a nosebleed. I'm a southerner, right? But,
I thought I guessed that,
so training is just one thing, right?
Okay.
But it's the follow-up systems with your team that are the absolutely crucial bits. So the feedback and audit system.
Right.
So there's no point having your systems if nobody's actually monitoring that they're being done.
Okay.
So really, you need a way of monitoring that everything's being done.
Okay.
You need a feedback system so your team can tell you if things need changing or need doing differently.
Right.
And you can also feedback to them how they're doing, and that kind of stems from audit. So it sounds a little bit like Big Brother is watching you,
right?
But it's not about Big Brother is watching you. It's about having those systems in place to make sure everything's getting done,
right?
And then feed that back to the team, because otherwise they might as well not be having them.
Because I mean, so going to the system. So I have to thank you, Rob, because I did it personally by email, but also I went on sort of Rob's ASM course. Sounds a bit rude, but it stands for
Advanced Systems Masterclass.
Advanced Systems Masterclass. So I learned a lot from that system from there. So I thank you, and also about branding, which helped me with my career. So if people want to learn a bit more about systems, because I can tell you're very passionate, how would they get to know more about them, or maybe what you're doing? Is that course still available, or is
so for various reasons in Property Education Group, we've kind of tailored it down, mainly because I'm quite busy with my development business, so we're doing bigger developments. Takes a bit more of my time, and also really my main focus is on I run a company now that trains trainers to kind of spread the training message and help people.
Right.
So we have our digital products from PEG still there. The Advanced Systems Masterclass still exists.
Okay, brilliant.
I don't know if we can put a link on or something like that.
Well, we'll put every time we talk about something, we'll put a link in the YouTube video.
Perfect.
So people can just click on it and so go straight to
just go straight to the page. Look, there's no sort of silly drop downs and stuff. It's just a page. You can just buy it if you want to. It's pretty much everything that we created digitally in the Property Education Group. You can get it all for 500 quid, and it's fantastic. Right?
I've done the course, but I'm very impressed with it. I thank Rob. So just for where would they go online for that course?
Oh my gosh,
it's a bit of funny.
We'll put the link below.
We'll find out. We'll put it in downstairs.
I genuinely can't remember.
So Rob, I mean, we're here in Chester. We're actually in the middle of a course, so I know you got to get going pretty soon. Can you tell sort of the audience what is that course? And who's it for exactly? Today's course.
In my property business, I kind of focus on the development stuff, and I've got a team who do that now. So actually, my kind of role is more finance building and site acquisition. But on the training side of things, when I was growing Property Education Group, one of my missions is to help people and train people.
Right.
And I personally felt the best way to realise that mission was actually to train others, to train people properly, right? Because I think there's a lot of... The training market is one of these ones that polarizes people.
Right, okay.
I think on the one side, you get people who come into it for the wrong reasons, who just need to make some cash and not actual trainers.
Okay.
And then you get people who are actual passionate trainers and want to make a difference.
They want to make a difference, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So do things the right way. So I felt that to help grow that better side of things, the natural way was to train people to be trainers.
Okay.
So effectively, what I do now is I help people to create their brand, create their positioning, create their message, get it out to market digitally. So how to use Facebook and autoresponders and funnels to set all that up. Create an ecosystem. So it's all very systemized. It's a very systemized way of doing things. People can create their own programs and have it all going, sort of 24/7 without their input when it's set up.
I use Facebook. Again, I followed your example. And I use Facebook for advertising all the time now.
Works well, doesn't it?
I'm very impressed. You can do niche going down to a very small part of the country. But me, I go all south of England because I want to promote Birmingham as an investment area.
I mean, someone's got to.
I thought I might mention that every now and again.
Birmingham's hot, right?
So it's a good one. So So again, I use your course and I use Facebook marketing, and it's changing all the time.
It does.
Does your course? I remember that time it's very specific about Facebook. So how do you keep your course up to date with Facebook changing all the time?
Yeah, so I kind of focus on digital, my own stuff, doing it digitally, right?
Yeah.
It's the best way to leverage. So actually, the workshop I'm doing here is a trial run for a new digital program I'm creating, which is about how it's called Remote Expert Income.
Okay.
And effectively, because everything's digital, it's very easy to update it.
Yeah.
Because just when something changes on Facebook, you can just go in, reshoot the video. I mean, look, fundamentally, they are always making little tweaks to Facebook. And then every now and again, they'll do like a major update.
Right.
So I generally wait till there's a major update.
Right.
Because we have support groups and I have an inner circle program and all that sort of stuff. I can communicate that to people who are on my program without necessarily having to update the whole digital program and then wait for sort of batch updates, if you see what I mean.
Okay, right. Yeah. Otherwise, we change it.
You'll be changing it all the time. I mean, literally, they do every day.
They do. Right.
Well, it's always fun to go into Facebook and see what they've done today.
Okay, so Rob, to start giving me your journey, which was started about say 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, we turned it 5, 6 years. I was in the Air Force when it started.
Oh wow! So can you tell the audience what exciting stuff you're doing right now in actually maybe not in the courses, maybe in development, and maybe a bit later on what's down the pipeline. In the pipeline.
So we've just finished. I've just finished actually in Chester. We had a grade 2. I'm not quite sure what it was. It's kind of been different uses, like a B&B. It was nurses' accommodation. It was a big grade 2 listed building.
Right. Okay.
In the middle of Chester.
Wow.
Which we thought it'd been derelict for like 7 years. Very prominent building. We thought we would go in and do it.
Yeah. You get a lot of support from the council, you would have thought,
there wasn't a lot from the council, from the conservation guys. So we did that. We just finished that a couple of months ago, and what we have done is we brought back these. We split into 2 big townhouses.
Okay.
They're looking absolutely beautiful. They are struggling to sell.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use them as serviced accommodation.
Right. Okay.
So a great thing about property, this is what I love about property, is that I always go into a deal with at least 2, preferably 3 exit plans.
Oh, wow, 3. And normally I know about 2, but 3, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, this one, so the options we had, number 1 was to flip, which is our plan. Second was to use service accommodation. Third, we can actually use it as an HMO if we wanted to use it as an HMO. So it's actually got 3 different exits there. So we've gone with using it as serviced accommodation. So I've got a small SA business in Chester. We've got 4 units in the city centre of Chester, so it just plugs into the systems that are already there.
Right.
Not really a lot more workload, and they'll be fantastic.
That'd be ideal, I think, wouldn't it, for Chester city centre?
Yeah, exactly. And the great thing about that building is we did it in cash.
Okay.
So actually, we haven't got any finance costs.
Right.
So we've got this big sort of chunk of bricks, which means it'll be high cash flow. I mean, maybe not high yield, right? Because they're quite expensive, but high cash flow.
Yeah.
And then, and this is a great tip if because a lot of people say, why do you do it in cash? Well, actually, we've got this unencumbered building, which we can now raise finance, sort of short-term bridging finance against, to go and buy other sites. We're already speaking to the banks about doing that, and securing it.
Okay.
So it's good because it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Oh, right. So is it a bit like having because it's cash, it's like having a number of deposits. So you can. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't use it as a number of deposits. We'd just use it to go and buy the next site, for example. Right. So we could secure X amount of funding to buy the next site, hopefully in cash. Which means we can then raise development finance on the site. So that's kind of our strategy: is to buy sites in cash and then raise development finance to actually develop them out. So we just started. I say just started. We bought it almost a year ago to the day. Actually, our next project, which is about to come out of planning, we've got the main contractor in place. Is a development of 20 flats and 2 retail units.
Is that in Chester as well?
That's in Ellesmere Port. It's about 5 miles. 5 miles up the road.
Right.
But again, we're doing that to hold.
Okay, I like that strategy.
It's not like down south. We can't flip them and make massive profits. It's a high density scheme. Designed for cash flow. Long term hold. Again, the figures work nicely because when you scale up, I think it's very difficult these days to buy single let. Right. Renovate it and pull all your money out.
I think it's very difficult.
Very difficult, right? And it's like there's almost no point looking. Whereas when you go for sort of large commercial distress, especially stuff, I know a lot of people with commercial like to go down the PD route and do offices. Because it's easy. But I actually think there are a lot of gains to be had if you go down the planning route and get the more difficult sites.
But maybe a bit more
you've got
risk
more risk.
as well. Yeah,
absolutely, you've got more risk, but with risk comes reward. And again, it's about relationships.
Okay.
So we bought this site with no planning, at risk, but I know I've got a relationship with the council planners, with the regeneration officer, and obviously sat down and spoke to them before we bought it. And of course, they can't give it a green light, but they can say, yes, we are supportive of this. So it kind of mitigates that risk.
I think you probably built your relationship over the last few years with the planning officer, which is a very important, very key result here, where you're building a relationship with the banks and the planners. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there any advice you would give to people about how to mitigate risk regarding planning? Because that is a big thing right now. Everyone's trying to do PD. Yes. But
I mean, so mitigate risk of planning. So if you don't have those relationships, or you think there's a question mark, with the site.
Okay.
The site we bought, we knew the council are not going to deny it. It's all about what density can you get. Of course, that's a big thing. Yes. You might get density that doesn't work. The figures don't work anymore. Yeah. So if we were ever going to be using other people's cash to go and buy something without planning, it would always be under an option or exchange subject to planning to de-risk that.
Okay, yeah.
Because what I would never do is take somebody else's money, buy a site, go for planning,
it didn't get planning.
Then, it doesn't get planning, sorry, this doesn't work anymore, and you can't sell the building because it hasn't got planning, so your cash is now tied up. Yeah? Okay. That's a bad way of doing
Brilliant
business.
Piece of advice there.
Yeah. So if you got your own capital, you can have maybe a higher risk tolerance to it, right? Yeah. But other people's capital, make sure you get it sewn up before you complete.
Okay, brilliant. So, Rob, I just want to say, I know people wait for you to come back to your
literally the lunch break. Right?
So, what do you see the future for Property Education Group? Or what's in it? What's your plans for that?
So, future for Property Education Group is. We haven't got huge plans for it, to be honest.
Okay.
As I said, I'm focusing more on train the trainer side of things. In my property business, our target is 500 units in the next 5 years in the local area. So I have a business partner who's sort of a joint venture business partner. And that's what we're scaling up to do, really. Okay. Because look, people talk about training, things like that. Training is never as good a long-term prospect as buying assets, which are going to cash flow.
Get cash flow.
But of course, once you're building a portfolio, I don't know if you've seen this, and anybody who's watching seen this.
Right.
When you're building a portfolio, you never have any cash, right?
That's right.
It's always going into building the portfolio.
Yeah.
So it's I always say to everybody, and this is probably my biggest bit of advice, is that you have your wealth building strategy, but it's also vitally important to have a cash flow strategy as well.
Right.
And generally, a cash flow strategy comes from some form of trading business.
Right.
Be it training, be it selling information products, be it selling commodity products on Amazon. Be it giving your time out as consultancy or something like that. People need cash flow to live off and have a quality of life and survive. And I see a lot of people enter the market, they're like, right, the first thing I'm going to do is going to buy a 15-story building and turn it into 60 flats. And I'm like, great, how are you going to live for the next 2 years? Because
all your cash is tied into that. Okay, brilliant. I mean, that's fantastic advice. Rob, I think we'll draw this interview to a close. Cool. So just want to say thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
It's been an honour seeing you, because we've been on each other about 4 years, I think now. It's been that long. I always follow Rob's work, and what we'll do, put all the links underneath, so how you can contact Rob directly. And if you've got any comments, please leave them below. And if you've got any feedback, or you want to interview anybody else, again, make sure you like and share this video as well. And Rob, thank you for your time.
Absolutely perfect. Been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
See you.